What is going on, everyone? Welcome into this emergency podcast edition of the DNVR Avalanche podcast, brought to you by Xfinity. Imagine that we were sitting here wondering when a trade might brew for the Colorado Avalanche. Turned out it happened sooner rather than later. The Colorado Avalanche have yet made another trade, with the Nashville Predators sending Jack Drury, Chase Bradley, and a third-round pick their way. In return, getting Fedor Svechkov and Zachary L'Heureux. In return, two young players, both drafted in 2021, with a little bit of NHL upside. Neither have played a full NHL season. But, Rudo, immediate thoughts.
They got two guys that probably neither of which are as good as Jack Drury today, but it's an upside swing. Two guys that they have signed for the next 2 years, combined price much cheaper than you were going to pay Jack Drury. And when you look at the impact that Jack Drury has as a fourth line center, yes, he does a lot of things really well, but there's a cap on how much impact you have there. I think it's savvy business from the Avs here, assuming they're right on at least one of these guys having some upside. We'll get into more details, I'm sure, later. But also, does Joe Sakic know he's allowed to trade with not his ex-employees? Like,
nobody else has Chris McFarland's phone number, apparently.
Yeah,
AJ, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I love our thing here that says Ross Colton traded to Nashville. It is still accurate. We could probably just trade it, or we could probably just change it to a bunch of Avs gonna get traded to Nashville. I think I love this return. Like we were talking about, like, second round pick.
You've loved L'Heureux for a while, so.
And that's not even it. Like, it's not my personal feelings about Zach L'Heureux aside. It's mostly about they turned a guy who was about to get paid so much money to be a fourth line center, which is only so valuable in the league. It's only so valuable. And they turned that into two young players who are Svechkov can play center. He's been bad at faceoffs, so like maybe he shouldn't.
Nick Wall's right there. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. And he brings way more sneaky offensive upside than you would think for a guy who had 4 goals in like 70 games last season. I think this is so much better of a return than I could have hoped for, because a second or a third round pick, if you make those picks, you're going, okay, well, you got worse, and like maybe in a few years those guys pan out. These are two guys that will be on your NHL roster immediately.
That it's the 2029 third. Like they still have this year's and next year's.
Yeah. Yeah. I was kidding earlier when I said that they should dip into the 2029 picks, especially a third. There are thirds for them to trade. So I was like, why? I mean, why?
Hopefully that means those are lined up for something else, but
I brought this up in saying they're, again, both very young players, both guys who have not had a full season in the NHL. But guys who, AJ, you already kind of mentioned digging into some numbers for them, have a decent amount of NHL upside.
Well, and we've seen them be okay NHL players to this point, but
Svechkov especially.
Yeah, but you look at them and you say they're both 23 years old. Like in terms of the Avalanche wanting to get a little bit younger and a little bit cheaper, that's great. They accomplished both in this because the new contract for Jack Drury is going to be more than $3 million, and these two guys combined are right like just over $2 million. So you got
not even right. They're like just under
125,875. So
okay, I can't read. I thought it was 785. Yeah.
So you're talking essentially it's $2 million.
Yep.
That I mean is if the plan here is to replace Ross Colton with Parker Kelly on the third line. I don't love it.
You don't go get upside guys to not play them in that role, right? Like,
okay, first of all, in Jared Bednar's world,
yeah, I know.
All young players have futures that are just waiting to be destroyed.
These are guys that we're talking about, at least in L'Heureux's case, he's pushing 100 NHL games. It's not like there's nothing there.
Yeah, well, and Svechkov's at 122. So
yeah, these are not the true brand new kids. Yeah. Like
these are not guys that should play 6 minutes a night. Okay. Where should I start? Should I start with Svechkov or L'Heureux? Which one?
Let's start with Svechkov.
Okay. Do you want me to throw this to you, Rudo, and I'll just take L'Heureux because you know that this is going to just be a gush sesh?
Sure. If you want to do it that way.
Take it away.
I think the interesting thing with Svechkov, especially, and I know Yaya has the card if you want to pull it up for both of these guys, but we'll start with Svechkov. When you're talking about what Jack Drury really brought to this hockey team, I don't think you were really relying on Jack Drury to be an offensive force, right? You were expecting him to be a defensive stalwart 4C for you. And that's, you'll get into L'Heureux's numbers defensively have actually been quite good. But for Svechkov, he's cheap. He's technically a center. Again, I don't know that he really needs to play center for the Avalanche like AJ was talking about. But this is a guy that you're seeing trend in the right direction, and you can bet on a little bit of an offensive breakout with, 1, a better system, 2, more minutes, hopefully. You don't need to overthink these moves. The Avs aren't going out and getting Svechkov to be a world beater. They're going out and getting him to be a functional guy for them in realistically to start their bottom 6. And if either of these guys end up blossoming into more, great. I don't think they even need to blossom into more to feel comfortable saying the Avs probably win this trade. They got 2 functional NHLers. Svechkov is the one that I don't necessarily want to say more reliable, but I think right now today the floor is higher than what it is for someone like L'Heureux, and you're going to get a guy that can show up and be in your lineup, and at worst he's not going to hurt you.
Yeah, I think I'm actually the high one on both these guys now that you've done this. Yaya, if we could we get up the microstat card for Svechkov, because I really want to get into what I like about it. That's a lot of blue. That's a lot of blue. The one thing that you don't love is in zone offense, the in zone shot assists, and the shots. Those are all bad. And obviously goals. Like, again, he scored 4 goals in 70 games. Am I banking on a guy scoring or shooting 5.7% to get? Again, I am not. I'm going to bet that it goes up a little bit. He shot 12.5% in his first year, and that's why he had 8 goals. I think just asking him to go 8 goals, 20 points puts you right in the neighborhood of what you want from him, and that effectively replaces the offensive contributions of Jack Drury. The defense is a huge work in progress relative to what Drury did, and if you want to play him at center, I would probably start him there, but you don't have to keep him there. If you want to play him at center, he's been really terrible in faceoffs to start. We talk a lot about how young guys aren't very good at faceoffs to begin their careers, but last year was 36%, or 2 years ago was 36%. Last year was 42%. That's not good. That's not good in any facet. Yeah. You're not even talking about a guy that's close to being good. We look at faceoff guys. If a mediocre faceoff guy is at worst 50-50. Mm-hmm. Like guys who go 52%, we go, okay, like you're a coin flip. A real, like Jack Drury in this area was a real weapon because of his ability to win draws. With Svechkov, that's now gone. And if that gets replaced by Nick Waugh, then we have track record there. But I love that
face-off guy too, for the record.
Right, and Brock Nelson, depending on the zone, and Nathan McKinnon, depending on time of year and the given day, could care a lot about it, right?
Yeah.
So, like, they lose their best face-off guy, but it was not leading to a ton of really positive results in the underlying stuff. You could see that Jack Drury's PK work left a lot to be desired. He was an elite defensive center, at 5v5.
Yep.
Like
what I think is really.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say what's really helpful here too, if you're losing some of that in the face-off dot, you want to be able to improve in other areas. What I think makes Svechkov especially effective, if you're going to utilize him on the wing and not at center.
Yeah.
I think that's a really important part here. Really good on the sides, really good at creating space for himself. So if you're looking at trapping other players and making sure you can recover pucks along the boards. Like this is somebody who can use that to his advantage and is really proven to be really good in those areas throughout his entire career in the AHL and below.
There's a couple of stylistic fit things here too, right? We talked a lot on today's show about, the Avs need a distributor for their second line. And that's not Svechkov. I'm not pretending he's going to be in their top six or anything.
Not yet, baby.
You even look at some of their bottom six guys. Kadri, in theory, a shooter. The version of Parker Kelly you got last year, a shooter. Nick Waugh, maybe a little bit more balanced, but at times in his career has been a shooter. If Svechkov can be a little bit more of a distributor for them off the wing or at center, you gain a little bit more value in distributing the puck and finding different ways to attack. And then the other thing is good skater, not like elite skater, but he has enough pace that you see how it fits with the Avalanche.
He's a plus skater. He's not going to be, again, Rudo, like you said, he's not going to remind you of a Nathan McKinnon or a Martin Netchis. He's a good skater. It's plus. It's a good ability. He's in the upper fourth of the NHL, somewhere in there, as a skater for me. He's
81th percentile via NHL Edge.
Is he? Okay. There you go. I mean, I love the overall potential of his game more than the actuality of it right now. And that's one reason why I'm excited about this. Like, Jack Drury is what Jack Drury is. What he is today is what he's gonna be.
This is absolutely the savvy upside swing, efficient cap move that we were talking about. It's just they did it with Jack Drury, which really isn't that surprising. It's just Nichushkin was the big bait out there.
Well, and they get two guys who were recent first round picks. So again, you have two guys who are 23 years old. Zach L'Heureux turned 23 like a month ago.
I know L'Heureux is your guy, but I also think he's the real move here, right? The upside there is big. He's a guy who I don't want to say he's the crazy guy, but he's certainly a physical guy.
Okay, I'll say it. He's crazy.
I was gonna say he's got a suspension history that backs him up there a little bit.
Yeah. Juniors in NHL are a little different, but yeah,
he's insane, man. He's a crazy person, and like he's, if he could get to the Steve Downey, Mason Marchment level, where he's a really effective NHL player while also being crazy. Then that's exactly what the Colorado Avalanche needed. They absolutely need a guy that is going to get in there and he's going to lick a guy's visor, and he's just going to say some things. I can't wait. This is immediately Zach L'Heureux is my number one request for our
interviews,
our preseason interview.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's go ahead and dive into his numbers here, AJ.
Yeah, let's get into his player card if Yaya can bring that up. I mean, it's the same with Svechkov. It's not going to like knock your socks off. You're not going to be, oh my God, right? But you look and you see the numbers are going to be a little deceiving because 25 games means that he only had 25 games this season, 62 games last season. So you're not talking about a ton of data here.
He was injured for part of last season for what it's worth.
But you do look good defensively, doesn't score goals. Same thing with Svechkov. And he actually took on legit competition with poor teammates, got good results on the penalty kill, and he's okay offensively. That's my phone transferring. It's a really, like, I love the upside move here because with both Svechkov and L'Heureux, you're saying in 3 years, these guys could both be members of Colorado's top 9 forwards.
Yeah.
And I say 3 years, 2 years.
It could be literally next year if things go really well.
Yeah, there's enough veteran guys there at the moment that it might be tough to displace one or two, but when a guy like Nichushkin gets moved out, you wonder. You throw these two guys, though, in with Gavin Brindley, and suddenly you see the makings of, hey, here's a top 9 that we might be able to build around.
Mm-hmm.
And if Zach L'Heureux only, quote unquote, only maxes out as a fourth line wing who plays with a ton of physicality and brings that insane streak, he is 5'11", 200 pounds, and he plays like he's 6'6". He's nuts.
I think what's encouraging is, again, maybe you don't believe in the upside as much as I do here, AJ, but you're talking about L'Heureux and more so Svechkov, because L'Heureux didn't play a ton this year, but in L'Heureux's first year, there's enough production there, 15 points in 62 games in his first NHL season, where it's like, do you want that number to go up? Yes. But if you have that guy on your fourth line, he's hitting the floor of production that it's okay in the NHL if you're a 20-ish point guy. You'd love for him to be a 30-point guy. You'd love for him to be a 40-point guy. How realistic is that? Well, let's see how they develop. Again, both of them are only 23. There's room for belief that they are better players than they've shown so far in Nashville. Particularly, Nashville was better-ish this year, but 24-25, that was truly a horrible, horrible place to play hockey. So I fully get it. And even if, like, obviously they can't bomb out, but as long as both of these guys are steady NHL players, just good business from the Avs, right?
It really is. And somebody in chat asking an important question, what was their ice time? They both were over 12 minutes per game. None of this is 6 minutes, all right? They are getting legit, like solid fourth liner minutes. And I again want to stress, as much as we liked Jack Drury, good player, good guy. He was great on our show. We really liked him. He was going to he priced himself out of Colorado. The Avalanche tried multiple times to extend him during the season and did not get that done because Drury saw the tea leaves. He said, this is going to be a summer where guys get paid. And he's been very correct about that. And the reality of, well, how much do you really want to spend on your fourth line center, especially when, as we've talked about, Nick Waugh is right there on your roster for $3 million. And when Jack Drury makes more money than Nick Waugh this coming season, there's a reason he's not going to be in Denver, right? And Nashville has the cap space to slide Ross Colton somewhere into their top 9, to slide Jack Drury in as their fourth line center. Those guys are all good. They're good role players, and they're good in the roles that they're in. They were just too expensive for what the Avalanche needed. They needed more cost-effective guys. They just got 2 roster players combined for $2 million who have a good chance to be regulars for them. And one of them needs to be a regular. I don't know which one, but one of them, at least one of them, needs to be a lineup regular.
Realistically, I think they made this trade for both of them to be lineup regulars this year.
I agree with you.
When you look at the TOI comparison, sorry, Bailey, but really quick here. Yes, last season, Jack Drury averaged 14.30. That's because for the first half of the season, the Avs were trying to make him their 3C. When you look at Jack's previous seasons in Colorado, 12.58, 12.53. The gap is really not that big to fill as far as the TOI difference. Obviously, if Jared Bednar tries to do the 6-minute thing, Joe Sakic's got to pick up the chancla and smack him upside the head. But realistically, this is not a big jump that they were asking whoever of these guys they see as replacing Jack Drury in the lineup as far as TOI is concerned, especially when you look at L'Heureux, who has good defensive acumen and in theory can be a penalty killer for you.
Yeah.
I just don't think that the Avs are going to miss Jack Drury very much from this trade.
I'm agreeing with you, and I also think that with Svechkov's offensive upside, there is a non-zero chance that if Nichushkin goes, that's the role he plays.
Yep.
Yeah.
That Svechkov gets moved up into a middle 6 job, and they ask him to do that while L'Heureux toils away as a fourth line crazy person.
And look, that's kind of the same conversation you had with Jack Drury at the start of the year. Not necessarily at center, but you're saying, here you go. Here's the role. Blossom into it or don't, and then we know we have to do something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the easiest thing to do here is move Parker Kelly to your third line without making any other moves on the forward core. You move Parker Kelly onto your third line and go from there.
Yeah. I think for what it's worth, mentioning that both Svechkov and L'Heureux have to go through waivers in order to be sent down. So whether or not they are immediate, well, no, and that's the point that I'm bringing up, is saying that regardless of what you might think of their NHL upside immediately, yes, there's a lot of ceiling for these guys in the next few years. But as of right now, you have to think Joe Sakic is looking at both of these players and thinking they can make a difference on my roster right now.
It's the best of both worlds, because they're signed for the next 2 years, ultra cheap, and then they're both RFAs at the end of this contract. This is a diversifying your assets and hopefully making you better now. And if you're right about either of these guys, definitely making you better going forward.
Yeah. Valid.
And even if just one of them becomes good,
right,
this is a big win for you.
Other side of this, I feel like it wouldn't be a proper show without mentioning Chase Bradley, also gone. Not a proper guy who was going to make much difference on an NHL roster, at least not here in Colorado, but valuable piece for the Colorado Eagles.
Yeah, the Avs were always an organization that seemed to believe in Chase Bradley. AJ and I never really did
get it.
Yeah.
And it was funny because every scout or personnel guy that you and I talked to was also confused.
Yep.
It was like, what is this? What do they see in him? And they were the outlier. And now it's like, was Chris McFarland the believer? Was
apparently
he the Chase Bradley guy?
Isaac Posh, Chase Bradley, C-Mac knows all these guys, I guess. So it is what it is. Look, your team's starting lineup might be changing, but the price of your internet will not. Make sure you check out the 5-year price guarantee from Xfinity. Xfinity, imagine that. Yeah. I'll give it back to you, Bailey. But again, these are the types of smart business decisions a team like the Avalanche, with managing their cap space, have to make.
Yeah. Last thing I was going to kind of mention before rounding this out too, something we talked on today's big podcast, was the potential impact of guys like Gavin Brindley and TJ Hughes potentially making themselves seem a little bigger in camp this summer. That seems a little more of a dire task for the both of them with these two guys being added.
Job got harder.
Yeah. Again,
job got harder.
I think I agree with what AJ was saying earlier. I think you probably feel like Svechkov pretty much has a spot in the starting lineup. But then you throw in
helps,
but then you throw in, okay, in that camp battle, the dog at the top of the chain is now L'Heureux, and it's on Brindley and Hughes and Ivan to prove that they're better than that guy. Again, I don't think they're getting sent down, so L'Heureux is likely at least slotted in as your 13th forward, depending on how things shake out. The Avs want to bring back a Kiviranta. That also makes it harder. It's why this time of year you get to speculate a lot, and then you get into July and teams make their move, and you're like, oh, actually, this is what it's going to look like.
Yep. As we start to wind down this emergency pod, we do have one super chat to get to from Ryan B1, $5. A third feels pretty rough to me when you're just trading for more tweeners. I know contract, but bleh, especially with Bednar plus young guy track record.
We joke about the young guy track record, but Bednar has given a lot of unproven guys time in the NHL, and they've run with it. He didn't have to play Gavin Brindley as much time as he did last year. We've seen Logan O'Connor, we've seen Parker Kelly. There have been a lot of young guys that have gotten ice time and done well with it, and some of that has been out of necessity, and some of that has been out of this guy's just been good.
There's also a very specific pipeline. If you see a guy that is defensively responsible and plays with energy, Bednar will find a way to make it work with that guy.
Yep.
There's a very specific type of player, the Mikhail Maltsevs of the world, that whether it's true or not, if it looks like there's an engagement issue by the way he plays, Bednar's not going to like it.
Or makes a lot of mistakes like Bardakov.
Yep. Also, I don't care about the Colorado Avalanche paying third-round picks for anything.
Yeah.
The Colorado Avalanche third-round pick record for the last essentially decade and a half is horrible. And you can blame that on whatever you want. That's not a conversation we have to get into, but the Avs do not have a third-round pick that has played 100 games in the NHL in forever, let alone for the Avs themselves.
Was the last one Tyson Barrie?
I believe there might have been one other one that like just squeaked out 100 games.
Did Spencer Martin get to 100?
Bourneval got to 100.
Oh, I forgot about it because the Avs drafted Bourneval and traded him like a week later to Montreal for Ryan O'Leary. So I've never thought about him as an Av ever.
Spencer Martin got 72 for the record.
Oof.
And that's
just one this thing down. One of the biggest things that maybe hasn't been brought up yet. This is a very cap-friendly move. No pun intended. It's not a defenseman they got in this trade. They did get 2 forwards, but you have to think that maybe a little bit of difficulty we were looking at potentially with getting Brett Kulak signed to a deal, or maybe finding somebody who might be a little more cap-friendly for the Avs. This becomes a little bit easier to swing with this move.
Yeah, they have roughly $5 million in space remaining. That take it with a grain of salt. It's Puckpedia, and who knows, their rosters get screwed up sometimes. I didn't actually go through every detail.
The 12 that they have on there are the 12.
Okay, so roughly $5 million in space. I think it would be pretty disappointing if you freed up that space to overpay Brett Kulak.
Yeah.
It's just not good business the way this trade is good business. But also that's the amount of money where, yes, you could make things work. You could pay a number 5 defenseman $3.5 million, and you could pay a number 6 $1 million and just try and make it work. To be honest, I don't think they're done.
Yeah.
It's impossible to think that they're done. They need 3 more defensemen.
Right. And you need
another forward.
And if you want the cap space to create that, you need to make more cap space. Almost $5 million in cap space is not good enough to build out your 5th, 6th, and 7th defenseman.
Yeah. If they bring back Kiviranta,
then you're down to $4 million in cap space and $3 million and whatever. Yeah.
Their job gets very, very hard to make the team at that point.
Yep. Anything left to add from you guys for this emergency pod?
No, I mean, I have to go write the story, and then we've got the whole pod for tomorrow that we can continue to get into it and talk about different lineup machinations. So we can do that.
We're going to get into January, and one of these guys is going to look really good. I would bet a lot of money.
That's fair.
I honestly feel solid about this. I mean, that not over the moon or anything, but I think Avalanche fans are going to love Zach L'Heureux. He's going to run around like a crazy person and give them an element that they could really use. And he's a better hockey player than you'd think. And I think Svechkov is like one of those guys that's just waiting to break out.
Very valid. We're going to chat about that more on tomorrow's show. This has been the DNVR Avalanche podcast, an emergency pod presented by Xfinity. Imagine that.
We all silly like the mayor.